Joining me today is Gen Ravi Shankar. Sir, how are you?
Your voice is cutting, 𝗏𝗏𝗙𝗏, so we'll have to see how to
Oh,
take it forward.
it
Yeah,
was before we went online. We were. It was
yeah,
fine, right?
yeah. It was fine, but now it's gone back to fine. Anyway, good morning,
Oh,
India, to
okay.
everyone, and
Keep talking, sir. I'm going to go out and come back in. Keep talking.
yeah,
Keep
fine.
talking.
Yeah, morning, India, to everyone, and great day today. What? Why are we picking up this topic? That's something which is important for everyone to understand. The Munich Security Conference. I've been following this Munich Security Conference often, regularly, right? And this year's Munich Security Conference is far different from the previous Munich Security Conferences. And that is why we thought we will have this discussion and, all this. So, yeah, Mr. Shreya is back, sir. Your views on the initial views on this Munich Security Conference, and then we'll take it forward.
Am I sounding better now, sir?
Yeah, you're sounding far better.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Some mischief happening. I don't know where, but
That-
viewers,
That's
you would have
happened.
noticed the Sengol right behind General Shankar, and this is the Sengol that you bought without the enclosure. Now we have got you a stand. We are selling this stand along with the pedestal. You can easily put your enclosure into this. So you can buy just the stand, or you can also buy it with the Sengol. And this is a little cheaper than the Sengol with enclosure. And help us, because these advertising revenues that we get from YouTube are up and down. General Shankar will attest to that. You never know. Views don't have a correlationship with the revenues. Subscribers don't have a correlationship with revenue. So we are always, flying blind, which is why I think General Shankar also has some has a store and has some things to sell. Help us out, because these are key to try and give us some kind of control over our revenue stream, because then we can get you all the right kind of guests and other things that we have to do. We have to do a lot of or what I would call as background expenses that we can't avoid, because there are so many things changing. The algorithm for YouTube changes every 3 months. So what worked 3 months ago doesn't work anymore. Then unless you realize what it is and how you get to understand the new algorithm and accordingly change yourself, your views are going to suffer. So we have a lot of challenges. So just help us out. That's all I'm trying to say. You can subscribe, you can like our videos, you can share them. Also, wherever the stores are there, we have like a shop feature on our P-Gurus app. General Shankar has it on the YouTube site. Please buy these things, because we do get a share of revenue. That revenue stream helps us tide over some of these differences. Sorry for my spiel. It's just something that's a big challenge.
No,
Every day
that's
is a
fine.
challenge.
Yeah.
Sir, this Munich Security Conference, first thing was Marco Rubio's speech was something that was unexpected from many people. They didn't think he would say what he said. But at the same time, what are the takeaways from that? It is difficult to understand what he is trying to say. Maybe it's me. I'm hoping that you can cast a little bit more light on what exactly is he trying to say there. What is the new order that United States thinks it should be, and how much of an agreement or disagreement others have with that? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Since you've spoken of Marco Rubio's, speech, it's being said that it is Marco Rubio's olive branch to Europe, right? Because before this, Trump had denigrated Europe. Vance had gone to Europe and denigrated them, right? In fact, virtually told them off, and this was outrage. So, since you have said this, because this is a key piece of this event, something important happened in that speech. And the key aspect of the speech, I will play it out. Can you put the slide on, please? Right, this is what he said. And from here, we'll pick it up.
Can't hear, sir.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, can't hear.
Okay, please take it off. Please take it off. No problem. Take this thing off.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have it. and then we'll. Okay, I don't have it immediately, but the fact is that the most important point he made was that Europe and uh, USA are one and the same. And he's gone on to say in the speech that what is America today is largely a descendancy of Europe. A lot of people from Europe went, and that there has to be a relink between Europe and USA. And and he gave the background of European colonizers who went around the world, and with their evangelism, their trade and military, and conquered lands, and America was part of it, and they've grown together. And he was aiming at saying that, look, Europe has to grow, it has to be ready to defend itself, and America is always there to help and all that. Some kind of olive branch in this thing. But what came across, which other way many people have felt it, is that, look, that's fine. In a way, it is fine. But the fact is, he's talking of recolonization of the world. Okay, now that's one way of looking at it. That America wants Europe get together, and then they can go and recolonize the world. That season has passed. I think this was the most important talk in the Munich Security Conference. So, many people feel the global order has ended, and the new one, no one knows where it is. Right? America trying to rebuild a global order in its way, the MAGA way, is something which not many people accept. Now, is there an alternative to this? People talk of multilateralism, unilateralism, polar, unipolar, multipolar, all that. There is no structure which is evolving. And we need to discuss this in detail, which I'm sure we will. Right? There was nothing new. There's no alternate to the current world order. So where are we heading? And I think that is the biggest takeaway from that speech. Why don't you just weigh in with your views and what you heard? Let me see if I can get that clip back.
Yes, sir. So, viewers, colonization is not just possible anymore. You are noticing how much of the truth starts coming out in social media, and that cannot be controlled. You shut down one channel, somebody else, it will start coming up. It's just a matter of time before viewers start catching up with their guest, their voice who's putting it out, and they start going and following him on that platform. Like, for example, if somebody shuts us down on YouTube, there are many options now. Rumble, X, and I can think of 3 or 4 more that could effectively, get our voice across. Point is that you can no longer suppress the voice of truth. And therefore, colonization requires a lot of these things where you say something, you do the exact opposite. All that hide and seek stuff is no longer going to happen. Plus, remember that all countries have all mixes of people. And information has a way of, finding the real place where it has the maximum amount of effect. So you can't really do things that you used to do in the past. Plus, America itself is divided badly. What are they going to do? Half the things that Republicans do, Democrats don't agree, and vice versa. Sir, I'm done. We can play.
Yeah, please.
And Europe, we belong together. So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era, let it be known and clear to all that this is neither our goal nor our wish. Because for us Americans, our home may be in the Western Hemisphere, but we will always be a child of Europe. And if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected, not just economically, not just militarily, We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally. We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive.
So that's how it is. It's a very profound statement which is made. That, virtually saying Europe and America are one. So if Europe and America are one and this is the way they're going to go ahead, it has shades of recolonialism. And it has shades of going back to unipolarity, right? And it has problems of multipolarity and things like that. So I thought this was the most important thing in this conference. But then that as it may, is it feasible, not feasible? We'll need a wider discussion on this and how will it go about. Attitudes have changed, everything has changed. And virtually, till this speech, Trump, by withdrawing from so many international institutions, has actually broken the global order. And Vance, by going and speaking what he spoke, 5-6 months back in Europe, has broken the global order. So there's no global order. We've seen UN useless. There's nothing which the UN has to offer to the world today, right? So this was one major thing. The second thing, which is important in this Munich Security Conference, is Ukraine was sidelined. No one spoke of Ukraine, if you noticed. No one bothered. Zelensky was, and his little combat suit was not, prominent anywhere. He was not even mentioned. So the thing is that, these are the issues. Ukraine was sidelined. And strategic autonomy is also a question mark. We'll talk of G4 and all that. We can, at this point, let's say. So, Ukraine didn't find mention at all. So, does that herald a case where everyone is fed up with Ukraine and that war is going to end? And it's now very clear that Russia and China are not on the same page anymore. Within Russia, there is a problem, right, of what's happening. So, are they going to come to some kinds of terms and finish off this war? Because it serves no one's purpose. Right? That's the next thing. Then, of course, the issue of China's role, which is very, 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 very interesting. I want to focus on this. I thought, for me, that was a great takeaway. And the great takeaway was, this is being discussed everywhere, is the talk by the defense minister of Japan. So I'll get that on so that you understand what the Japanese said. Yeah, this clip, if you could play, it's come up. It should.
It's still. I only see a Rubio dot.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Japan. Yeah.
Now I'll play it. Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah.
Soldiers have been sent. More than 10,000 soldiers have been sent to Russia. Russia have sent, North Korean soldiers to Ukraine. Then they are learning new way of fighting with drones, AI, and cyberspace, and with all domains, with conventional weapons. Then getting back to North Korea, then we need to think about what they are using for and who they are using against. So that's why I said Ukraine is not a distant problem.
Yeah, this is very interesting. He says Ukraine is not a distant thing. And, the way things are happening in where North Korea has trained its soldiers and everything, it's very clear that Japan he's given very clear indications about where Japan is heading. We are looking at remilitarization of Japan, the first green shoots of remilitarization of Japan. And they're making a case for it. Please understand this. Okay? So far, Japan has not spoken like this in the Munich Security Conference. That's the important thing, which you have to understand. I'm getting these clips because I thought these were very important clips for everyone to understand. What did the Chinese do? That's the important thing. Can we have this on China? This.
Coming up.
日本的现职首相公开
You
声
have to
称，
take this off.
台
The
海
other
有
one.
Hang
事
on, hang on.
就构
I
成
understand. Just 1 second, sir.
Have
Just
been
1
sent.
second.
Yeah, please.
More than 10,000 soldiers have been
Okay.
日本的现职首相公开声称，台海有事就构成日本可以对外行使集体自卫权的危机存亡状态。这是80年来第一次公开讲这种话，直接挑战中国的主权，直接挑战台湾已经归还中国的2战的秩序。直接背弃了他对中国所做出的一切承诺，我们当然不能同意，14亿中国人都不能接受。因见不远，不得不察呀。当年日本就是以同样的借口，就是所谓的危机存亡事态，对中国发动侵略，对珍珠港发动了袭击。如果不思悔改的话，势必会重蹈覆辙。这是历史的规律，所以善良的人们确实需要警惕了。首先，日本人民应该不要再被那些极右的，甚至想复活军国主义的势力所裹挟、所蒙蔽。一切爱好和平的国家都应该向日本发出警示。如果要走回头路的话，只能是自取灭亡。如果要再赌一次，只会败得更快，输得更惨。
So you see this focus. The highlight of Wang Yi's speech in the Munich Security Conference was all about Japan. He's worried about Japan. He says you shouldn't allow Japan to remilitarize. And if it does, you'll all have problems. We'll have problems. It will be punished severely and all that. So, and to a large extent, he was sounding defensive. Okay? If you see he's worried, China is worried. So will the equations change for all of us? You heard the Japanese foreign defense minister talk what he spoke, and you heard what the Chinese guys spoke. I thought this was very significant from an Indian perspective because of many reasons. A remilitarized Japan pulls China away from India. A remilitarizing Japan opens up new opportunities for India-Japan cooperation. And we can tell China, okay, take care of yours. Not China. We can tell USA that you might not have a role to play tomorrow here. You see, if you're going back to history, then things will change considerably. Business interests change. Everything changes. So where does that leave us? Where does it leave China? Where does it leave the Indo-Pacific construct? There's a huge thing. Plus the fact that the defense minister of Japan also focused on Russia and North Korea. Look at that end of the map between China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Russia, and USA. Is there a new flashpoint coming up there? Or North Korea was always a flashpoint, but is there something else happening? Right? And I've always maintained for China, the most vulnerable approach to China, a threat to China, doesn't come from Japan, India, USA, and all that. It comes from North Korea. People don't understand this. North Korea is a fragile country. If that Kim Jong-un tomorrow goes and something happens, and if tomorrow reunification of Korea happens, we don't know when things happen. Whoever thought that Germany will reunite, whoever thought that South Vietnam, North Vietnam will reunite. So in the same way, if North Korea and South Korea tomorrow reunite, the threat for China, where is the threat for China? It's on the borders of China. China will have a live border, not only with Russia, it will have a live border not only with India, but it will have a live border with USA. Because the USA has already put its foot on the Korean Peninsula. It's been there for them. Right? So you view it from that perspective, you view it from the Japanese way he is articulated, and you view it from what Wang Yi has said. It's a new dimension which has come out of this Munich Security Conference. Right? What are your impressions on this? Now that you heard me and you heard them.
Sir, China is always afraid of Japan because the past history tells you that if once Japan militarizes, they are very ferocious fighters. As a matter of fact, America was finding it difficult to stop the war because the Japanese were fighting until each man died. There was no surrender concept in their psyche, and that's why they had to drop the atom bombs, and only then the emperor surrendered. So point I think I'm saying to say is China has seen the ferocity of Japan, and now with Japan saying that, look, this has come to our border, Ukraine war has now come to our doorstep, and we have to do something about it. And that in turn has triggered China to say what they say. General, one of the questions that will be asked after we have done this thing, I would like to touch upon and expand at that point of time, because that has a lot of interesting things. We will park it at this point and then move forward, and then we'll go back at the question for more on this. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I would request you to eject all these videos, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to put a few new ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch to India. We need to switch to India and see, what did India gain out of this whole story? Okay? And I think the most important factor, India went there, our finance minister went there, our external affairs minister went there. What did India gain? Right? I think the first thing which everyone needs to understand of what India gained is the reiteration of trust in India at global scale. That is something very important. And, and this was expressed in absolute black and white terms by the German, foreign minister. I'd like you to show that clip so that people understand this.
Know where India is and that you are predictable and that we trust you, and vice versa perhaps. And so this initiated what happened, and this, of course, makes a categorical difference to China. We are both democracies. We have freedom of speech. We have rule of law. And that, of course, means really a lot for us. And so India is a very different partner to us compared to China.
So what do you make out of it? Before I comment, what do you make out of this little clip of the German foreign minister?
Sir, India has actually been a very responsible power. Whether it is like behaving oneself after like a ceasefire, when the other side tends to not do that, we even saw that during Ops and Though, or whether it was in withdrawing just to where the line of control was during Kargil. India was driving them out. It could have gone the extra mile and taken the whole thing and made sure that they can never do it again. India didn't do that. So somewhere that responsibility is being recognized, because if you are a nuclear power, then the next thing that people always look for is how responsible are you? That is where the doubt is, right? Whether it is Iran or Pakistan or any other Middle East country, how responsible will they be once they get nuclear capability, right? So from that point of view, I think India has always been steady, stable, predictable, and once in a while there will be some surprises, but that's to be expected. Diplomacy is not what it used to be. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So, the most important takeaway from this clip is the first part. He says India is trustworthy and predictable. Then, of course, he says it's democracy and all that. Germany is a democracy. And now, this is, last week in one of my podcasts, I had shown what the UAE person had to say about India in a CNN broadcast. Okay, I couldn't find that file, otherwise I would have shown. So, that was one individual thing, and this is something, the Munich Security Conference, which is well known for everywhere. It's something like the Davos conference, right? So I thought this is a very major thing which we often tend to forget. India's major power at this point of time, the way I look at it, is not military, it's not economic, it's not democratic, it's not this thing. It's a matter of trust. The trust factor. People trust India. People trust India to do the right thing. People trust India for its reliability. Either India says yes, we can do it, or we say we can't do it. And when we say we can do it, we do it. Right? It takes time, but we do it. And then people are clear that, look, whatever happens, the Indian democratic tradition is very strong. Okay? You might like it or not like it. Okay? It's not that BJP wins all seats everywhere. There's a vibrant opposition. You might not like the opposition from inside. That's a different story. You might take pot shots at it from inside. That's a different story. Someone from the opposition might take a pot shots at the government from inside India. That's okay. But look at it how people view it from outside. There's a difference of opinion here, vibrant, and still with all that bitterness which comes out, on social media and on the streets and everywhere between our ruling and opposition party, India is still growing forward. The impact this has on an outside view of a vibrant democracy is this. Let me tell you why I played this. If I had gone back 1 year back, in the last Munich Security Conference, where Ukraine was ruling the roost, okay? And Ukraine was ruling the roost, and that was the thing. War, to now. What a sea change. At that time, there was pressure on India to reduce the oil and this and that and all that. Remember that India is one of the guys who's supporting Russia. To now, and on the back of this India-EU deal which we have done, see the change in thinking. That is the most important thing which I want to put across. Then, of course, BRICS has been seen to be built as something against the Western world. Okay? Which I thought was always flawed in understanding. Again, during this very interaction, this point also came out. And I don't want to put it in my words. Let's hear the German Foreign Minister, Wadeful. And then, that's the second one.
Know where India is and that you are predictable and that we trust you.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And
mostly considered these countries as being members of the BRICS, and that is in a sort of alienated us from them, and that was wrong. So now we realize that, of course, we have a lot of differences with especially Russia. That has not to be underscored here. They are very, very fundamental. And also with China. But we have a lot of things in common with countries like India, like Brazil. And why not focusing on these common interests and common values? So this is, I think, the new view Europe and Germany is putting on the world.
This, I thought, was, please take it off. We don't need it. So, I thought this is very important from an Indian perspective. I must explain this. This year, we got the chairmanship of BRICS. America is completely against BRICS. I mean, they think that we are getting an alternate currency, alternate system to the Western world. And this was the view of the Western world for a long time, that BRICS is evolving into something against the Western society. But look at what this man says, and it's true. In BRICS, BRICS is not only China and Russia. It is India, South Africa, and Brazil, who are not against the West. He brings it out. He says we were wrong in assessing BRICS. So if today Germany has started speaking like that, we might say, oh, Germany earlier used to speak differently. Today it's speaking differently. But then that's change. See what's happening between India and France at this point of time. I mean, that's something which we will discuss a little after this. The kind of things are happening in terms of deals, in terms of nuclear weapons and all that. And not even nuclear weapons, small nuclear reactors, aircraft. We'll talk of that. So there's a huge change. Now this change, which happens with Germany, will also spread in Europe. If it spreads in Europe, there's no choice but for it to spread across the divide. Now you see why I brought these two things in: Japan, China, okay, and BRICS. Put them side by side. Where does it leave India? Where does it leave India? Where does it where and earlier the one about trust which Vedaful spoke. So let me ask you that question. Where does it leave India? Where do you see India going in this? Shreyaji.
I can only see India becoming more and more like a nuclear, a pole around which a lot of things will happen. And the thing about India is, regardless of how many times people have told it to choose sides, it steadfastly remains to not choose sides. And that's a strategy, and I think that's worked well for India. I don't see any reason for India to change its strategy from what it is now. And but it is going to be like having a pole vault and walking on a high wire. It's a high wire act. I think India is so far managed it fine. I don't see it. I mean, more or less, this foreign ministry department is pretty stable, if you ask me, sir. It doesn't matter which government is in power. The policy doesn't seem to change much. Maybe a little bit less sometimes, a little bit more sometimes. India still needs to do a few things right, and that is, one is that it's got to have one industry that it can say, I own this. Maybe it's pharma. Maybe it is already there. I don't know. These are how you build soft power for a country. And is pharma enough? How about satellites, ISRO? Is that another one that it can say, okay, I own this industry? China has ownership claims on a lot of things, right? So that's your projecting soft power. And maybe it's also gold, because the private gold wealth in India is far more than any other country, I think. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So the point is this: when you see all this, I go with what Mr. Shreya says, and this probably we'll discuss. Maybe we'll discuss it today. What does India have to do to become a superpower? Interesting, right? We'll see that. The thing is that the focus today is not on BRICS. China's focus is shifting somewhere. China's take China along with its internal problems. China is no more the threat it used to be even 3 years back, even 1 year back.
Right.
People have started, China has come up belly up. Everyone talks of Chinese power. Everyone talks of a big power. Yeah, he's grown big. He's an obese guy. You can't, say he's not there. But today the focus is not China. Europe's focus is shifted away from China. They say, we don't want China, we don't want USA, we want India. That's the theme which it's coming out very clearly. For their own rearmament, for their own wealth thing, they want India. I keep saying this. The Spain, aircraft deal with Tata Airbus Spain and Tata and Airbus Spain. So That's one deal. Then what's happening with France? What's going to happen with Germany? The submarine deals. It will happen. It's a matter of time, right? We probably don't even have a out, and they also don't have an either this thing. So if you look at all this plus more, which is happening, because I have not covered who all have met our foreign minister, who all have met everyone, and remember today there's an AI summit happening in India. There's a huge summit happening in India, and we'll talk of this probably tomorrow or day after, because the full outcomes are not yet there, right? And if I can get my hands around what happened, tomorrow we'll talk. So if you see all this, India's role is changing. That's the big takeaway from the Munich Security Conference I got. There's one other very important thing which came out of this conference, I must tell you. In Rubio's speech, he's mentioned that India has agreed not to buy additional oil from Russia. This is the word which has been used. Okay, so there's a ceiling on buying oil from Russia. It has not completely stopped buying oil from Russia. Okay, this has a very, very important connotation for our trade deal, India-US relations and all. It means that they are okay with us buying oil from Russia, but to a limited level. And that level, I suppose, is a matter of time. It will come to a settlement. Today, you see, there's a major change considering the fact so much debate has taken place in our part of the world, especially in India. Can we buy Russian oil? Not Russian oil. Is that, is Trump forcing us to stop buying oil from Russia? Russia is our trusted friend. We can't say, leave it out. Yeah, all that nonsense and debate with this thing. Now here, Rubio says, we're putting a ceiling on Russian oil. He's not taking the floor away. He's putting a ceiling. There's a floor already there. And in that ceiling you buy. They also understand that, India can't go off Russian oil completely. If India goes off Russian oil completely, the world, global prices, everything will, go awry. All right. I think that's a very major takeaway from this Munich conference, which people have to understand. What do you think about this new development which has happened in the Munich Security Conference about the ceiling of the Russian oil? Your views?
Good point, sir. I think India is also telling United States that if we want us to buy oil from somewhere else, then we need it on the same terms as what we are getting from Russia. In other words, at a discount.
Yeah.
We have not seen much details on the Venezuelan oil other than saying that refineries are ready in India to take that because they also get more byproducts from that. Actually, I did one objective study on that, and people started poking fun saying that now I am a Reliance buck, that I am a Mukesh Ambani buck. When somebody gives you data, understand the data, don't get emotional over it. They do have some good things about them. Otherwise, how did they become so big? How did they become so successful? Bringing Jio at a low price across the country was a huge gamble because you lose money hand over fist initially. Think about the guy's chutzpah. He has done his homework and he said, where there is credit, you have to admit that. I'm very disappointed with some other things that happen, but that's life. Anyway, let's move back to this. Sir, how India moves from this point forward, and I think what you and I talked about, that there is increased interest, increased business coming India's way. Is India ready for it? This is something that we have to see on the ground how things are changing. For example, education. It's a joke now. Lots of universities offering courses that don't result in jobs. What does one do? How do you change that? The faculty has to change. The courses have to change. And the prevalent feeling, sir, is that knowledge is doubling itself every 18 months. If you are joining a 4-year course, by the time you are 1/3 or halfway through it, whatever you have learned that far has become obsolete. So what skills do we teach our children? this is something that needs to be thought of, not just for the school system, the UGC and other things, but also for the parents themselves. How do we orient our kids? Is the current system of putting, a school bag heavier than you on your shoulders, is that the right way to go? Or is there any other alternative? Artificial intelligence is going to make learning very, very quick, but you need to be able to be in absorb mode, not, it comes one ear and goes out the other. These are skill sets that we need to develop for our children. And who's going to bell the cat? Who's going to say, I don't need these degrees, I have skill set and I'll get a job? Because, if you have the skill set, you will be able to get a job. There are many places now, Gen Ravi Shankar, where you can put a resume of your skill set on a platform that entertains bids from people wanting things done. There's one called FIVERR, fiverr.com. And the idea is that for $5, you can get whatever you want done. But it's just a name. It's not $5. It's much more than that. But I have got things done in the past using that company. So this is how you get paid for your skills. So that is democratized. How many of us know this? And they don't look at what degree you've got. They look at your reviews on what you did before and how did you rank among people who got your output. Were they happy or not? So this is a feedback mechanism that's self-correcting. You can't plant fake ad, because the fake reviews will give you a first customer. Unless you stand up to it, it becomes counterproductive. So it's a different way of looking at life. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So we have a long way to go on that, there's no doubt. But I think we're going in the right track, and Rome doesn't get built in a day. So we have to be patient ourselves also about this whole story. Right. Can you put the slide back on? Because something very interesting came out of this, conference. My slide. Yeah, look at this. This is a tweet from Dr. Jaishankar. He says, a G4 meeting of India, Japan and Brazil to discuss reformed multilateralism held on the sidelines of Munich Security Conference for the first time. So this is very interesting. There's a new G4. Is there a new G4 on the block of India, Germany, Japan and Brazil? It doesn't have any superpower. It doesn't have any revisionist power. It doesn't have any this thing. It is just 4 good democracies who are well equipped, who have intellectual capital, the scientific capital, and the financial capital, and the economic capital, and the resource base. Of course, not all at the same level, but at different levels. Are they forming a new story? Yeah. What are your views on this, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏?
Sir, I'm still trying to make sense of this 12-nation alliance that has been proposed. It consists of India, Canada, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, EU. So if you expand EU, that becomes 40 nations. I mean, what is left out? Russia, China, and the United States. And they have an answer for just about everything. Rare earths from this country, oil from this country, and so on and so forth. And this is something that's just breaking out, viewers. So there is something new happening. And the G4 thing that you saw was a preamble to that. Brazil is part of that. Germany is part of that. Again, like I said, EU is part of it. So 28 countries just come in one shot. So something is happening. There is, and the whole thing coalesces around which country? India. Because India is the one country that continues to grow despite whatever you throw at it. I mean, it might grow faster if some of these obstacles are not in the way. But see, this is a resilience. Because this is a consuming economy. It's not producing it for somebody else. You make a good car, Indians will buy it. That's my point. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, I think so. But I see the 12-nation alliance, everything. The difficulty in all these big talks of bigger alliances and all, who's the leader who will hold them together? You need the centerpiece. Many of these, the centerpieces are not there. Right? But if you have smaller nations, if you have smaller nations and who are on equal footing in some manner, right? They have the ability to hold on together. See, the idea of BRICS came about with this notion that at that point of time when BRICS was propounded, they're all equal nations, they have equal capabilities or near equal capabilities, and they are the ones of the future and all that. But from the time when BRICS was thought of to now, things have changed. It was supposed to be only a trading arrangement or a commercial arrangement, which has morphed into geopolitical alignment, which is now getting deconstructed, the BRICS. Okay, that it's not a you know it's not a geopolitical alignment against the dollar or against the US system or against the Western system, right? Because that's what China wanted to do. It wanted to hijack the BRICS. And I think the understanding is very clear. India is not going to allow that to happen. And especially in this, no more. And China is itself losing its heft. China will still go at it. Let's be very clear. Don't underestimate China. We shouldn't underestimate China. We shouldn't wish it away. We shouldn't say that it is weakest. It might be weak at this point of time. It will have problems. It will not recover. But the fact is, it is big, and you can't wish it away. Okay, it will remain a threat. It will remain. It will have its manufacturing base impacting the global economy. All that. I mean, don't sideline it. But the BRICS, as such, has also started morphing. But the more interesting thing is this G4. If this gets into a better idea, you see, the thing about this is Japan, India, Germany, and Brazil. They're on different continents virtually. I mean, even India and Japan are, though you call it Asia, it's in a different, almost a different continent or different sphere. You're in the Indian Ocean region, they are in the Pacific. And how it is. So, if these four countries can get together and they're democratic, both have had their share of right wing and left wing politics, right? And it's there in the thing. So if you do all this, right, and if this takes root, then you're looking at a different story altogether. This will be the antidote to the SEO. This will be the antidote to the BRICS or Chinese-led stuff. And this will be also the antidote to G7 and G20 to a large extent. It's not as if G7, G20 are the paragons of virtue, right? And G20, I think, has grown too big to be useful, especially in the era of MAGA. MAGA is not interested in G20 really, and Trump is not interested. He's only US fixated. So if you look at these two things, this G4 I thought was a great idea. So all in all, if I wrap it up, we can take some questions. The whole story which has come out of this Munich Security Conference, and that's why I was insisting that we need to discuss this, is this, that there's something new happening. There's a change. And where will that change lead to? We could discuss. Anything else you have to say on this, Shreyaji? Otherwise, I think we can take.
No, let's go to questions, sir. We have
Yes, sir.
covered most of the things. Let's go to some questions now.
Yeah.
First question from Pristine Aura. Colonization and Christianity are deeply tied. Rubio confirmed it. India is on course to become a slave state of USA. Sir, I want to caution you, this guy sounds like a Chinese bot.
No, that's okay. We'll answer. There's no
I'm
harm.
just telling you. Yeah.
No, I have no problem in answering people, whether it's Chinese or Indian. If it's this thing, do you think India is set to become a slave state of USA?
Who, me? Not at all.
Okay, guys, let me tell you this. This is a very good question which has come the way I look at it, even if it's from China or wherever. Please have a look at what we did yesterday. Okay, about the Indian US ambassador to India and all that. Today, India and America are at odds with each other virtually. We're not saying eye to eye. Even the deal is only a framework. It's not a deal. Okay, we have settled deals with others, not with USA still. There are issues of Russian oil, there are issues of many things. There are issues of immigration, issues of visas. Nothing is settled between India and USA. And I don't think India is in a mood to settle anything with USA in a hurry. Let me also be very practical about it. Like me, there are so many people in India who say, look, we might have had a strategic relationship with USA, it's no more. You have to rebuild. We are fully clear as to what is happening in Bangladesh, fully clear what's happening in Pakistan. We dissect it, I speak of it. So I think that India is on course to become a slave state of USA is just forget it. Don't even think of that. Yeah.
Just a trivial question to General. Would you like to know where you bought your chair? Looks nice.
Oh, yeah. This is, I must say, which is that, that famous furniture one, international.
IKEA.
This is an IKEA chair. You go in IKEA chair and pick it up. And I use it because, I have a little, I won't say little, I have a very marginal back problem. So if I sit for far too long on a straight back chair, I get a problem. So I have to have a chair which has a little, armchair kind of an effect. And this is what I found in IKEA. And ever since I have this. So that's how it is. It's a nice chair. I would suggest many of you go and buy it. Yeah.
Pristine aura again. China is the only country with self-respect. They build their own AI chips via Huawei, their own AI stack, jet engines. At this point, as an Indian, you can only admire China for its autonomy.
My left foot, okay? You don't have any bloody self-respect. Okay? You have built nothing. You have built a lot of these items, but you have destroyed your country. You should have self-respect. You have destroyed your demography. You have destroyed your culture. All you have is a bloody set of chips and some nonsense, some robots. Today you showcase your robots. You can't showcase your people also. What a pitiable country you are. You forget self-respect. I pity you, Chinese. Okay? As an Indian, you can only admire China for its autonomy. You think China has its autonomy? You guys are slaves to yourselves. Your bloody communist guys are screwing your own people. You guys can't do anything. You're actually pitiable. You don't have a religion. You've destroyed your culture. You don't have a future. You don't have a past you can think of. You're living in a society where its leaders have killed, at least so far documented, 50 to 60 million people through famines. You have a leader who has purged 10 million people so far in his 10 years. Every year you purge 1 million of your own people. Okay? What kind of a society are you? You're a bloody monstrous society. Can you add on to it, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏?
Sir, these are all, like I said, these are Chinese bots, and they are not even listening when you go back and hit them, right? Because it's a bot. It's placed it and it's gone somewhere else. So anyway, I know our friends in China are all watching with keen interest what General Shankar says. I don't think they really pay heed to what I say, but definitely they pay heed to what General Shankar says. So look, this is the truth. Whether you want to admit or not, this is the truth. And we are there to help you if you want to become a democracy. That's all we can say. We do have functioning EVMs. I'll say this to United States also. Sir, that's all today. Thank you so much. And please like, share, and subscribe to wherever you are watching, Ganashot or P Gurus. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, India.
Good morning, India. Yeah.